Hello, it is the 26th of February 2011. Happy weekend, and what a week! And what interesting times there currently is within the silver market right now, and a very, very impressive update for the for silver. But what's a little interesting to note is the retracement sizes. 3307, 3308 area down to 70. That's a difference of over 30 cents over the 33 barrier to make it 1% in what was just a 1 hour time frame. Now, to compare this to gold, that would be a difference of a percentage points of under a half a percent. So a little less volatility, even though it gained almost as much in gold as it did in dollars that day. It was extremely volatile to go from this point to this point. But when we take a look at the perspective of it, when you have a high and a low, okay, what's the next area that goes? Is it a break below here or is it a break above there? At some point, one's got to happen or it's going to stay in that range forever. So obviously, it's not going to stay in the range forever. It broke it to the upside. And when it had this retracement, that was just by eyeballing this high with this low. This was a very successful hold and that built the steam to end the day with yet another rally for silver. So it's up to 33.29. I think it even closed around 38 cents, and had some decently sized moves again at the end of the day. Once again towards the upside. So we'll see how this it does pan out moving forward to the next week. On the daily chart, what's interesting is this line in here. This was a previous resistance point back in January to start the year. This day really had no problem getting above it. So it was only resistance for a shorter period of time, and it has yet to come back and test it. Now, it still could be in the process of doing such a thing, but as of yet, it has not went through it. It really ended this week, or was the theme of the week, was this bear flag consolidation pattern, which went from an up day, down day, up day, down day, up day. So if the trend continues, we'll have a down day back down in this range and a test around 32. If, or at least a move down to 32 and a close anywhere above here. That's if the trend continues, and of course the volatility. There's also this uptrend line, which let me just erase those other two lines. This uptrend line, which was pretty much touched. I guess if you want to even go more exact, you could state that we could still come down a little bit more based on the touch of the first one and this key pierce here. Either way, it's coming to that level of support, and it still would be. It's good to see to confirm a break above this for the longer term perspective. That you'd want to have a consolidation period go higher. It would be better to have a little bit of a support, maybe come back to resistance, then come back here, and then come into a breakout point. That's what you're really looking for a nice level of confirmation. Because if you're confirming a breakout of 3140, usually the earliest you're going to get in is above 34, and that's exactly going to be the case here. Because you're not going to confirm 3140 when you're at 32. That just doesn't happen because you're too close to that support level. Regardless, interesting week. And as far as where I think we'll go, I can only really guess within the trend right now. So I'll show you at the end of the video where I'm guessing, and we'll see if it's correct or not. And within the weekly chart, this is a very interesting chart. And I say this because you can state, well, we got 5 green candles in a row. This is up too much, or it's looking like it's up too much, and it does look like it's up too much. sort of like it looked here, like it was up too much. And could it top though? Well, of course it could top and continue its trend by topping here. If we come back down towards this little area for support, the 38.2, downwards to the 61.8, and go higher, that keeps this trend of higher highs and the market of being bullish. So it can still top and be bullish, but it can still very easily go higher, especially when you throw in the situation where this trend line was taken out very easily. And what happened after it? Well, a higher high, higher low in the candle, higher close. And after a big move, it's showing like something like this, a small candle consolidating bigger ones. And it keeps a trend higher. That's something to look out for. Now, going back to 1979, people say, "Oh, you can't compare this." Well, I'm doing such a thing. I'm comparing it. And Mark Twain has often said that history doesn't repeat itself, more that it actually rhymes. And I'd have to say that it's rhyming pretty good right now. This chart starts back in the August time frame. At least the red colored one does, up around 80%. This is LBMA data, and this goes back from January of 1979 when it had its 1 year rally, and it's very similar in many perspectives. We can see the downward slope, we can see the upward move. At the start, up until here, the 1979 one had some volatile upticks from its support level, but always came back. And then ultimately, the difference here, it fell, it went higher, but it still bottomed around the same time, still came up and topped. Very, very interesting. So what I did on this is I thought, okay, well, before I go to what I did, no, I'll tell you. I was gonna say what goes on afterwards because I only got a couple charts on this, but the outcome is a 700% gain from 1979's bottom. Therefore, what I have done is I've taken this top and this bottom, and I've pretty much moved this to here, or I've at least started the comparison from that date. And this is what I've come up with. And this scared me when I seen this, because this is literally dead on, pretty much. It's not exactly a complete repeat, but it's rhyming exceptionally well so far from that period, from that high and pretty much that low. It's underperformed what it's done in 1979, but not by that much, and it's moving within the same rate. So if it continues this trend, which is where I think the market will go, I guess, and this is only a guess, of course, is that if we continue this, we're going to see a trend and then go lower. So that means for for the week and something like this, meaning we range between 34 or 33 to 31 and change, and maybe end the week at around 31, 30.85. Then have some selling because it obviously does it here. Find some support roughly around 28.50 to 29. Then rally around that a bit and then break, and then it's off to the races. And that would mean a break of 34. That would most likely going from 15% gain to 25% gain. That's roughly another 10%-ish or so. So that would be a gain on top of 34 up to the 38 level. Now, as I was going to say, as I was stalling before, where this market goes. Well, it does continue to proceed higher and much higher levels that, if we compare, we'll see silver in the 70-80 very soon. The fundamentals for it currently state it could happen. I've seen a lot of weird things happen in this world. I often get asked, well, what happens if you get a major retracement? Well, if we get a major retracement, we get a major retracement. It'll be a major physical disconnect within the actual bullion, because If the markets are traded on a paper-based system and devious things can be done, I'm not saying they will, but if they are done when they can be done, then that's going to cause some sort of reaction that would just be unheard of right now. But unheard of things are happening in this world also. So moving on, there are a lot of different scenarios to where we may go. This is one of the more optimistic ones if you're only looking for a higher number. But would a chart like this potentially make sense? We've had many days where these levels were just so small. But a lot of times when you have big gains, it makes the previous high levels shrink in comparison. This is, like I say, a simulated result. Not saying it's going to happen. In fact, I've got 4 different possibilities of things that may happen. But if we do have any major moves that we're talking, this is going towards Robert Kiyosaki's 6,000, I've heard him say in one video. Not sure who was edited or not, but I know Kiyosaki's huge on silver nonetheless. So a move to 6,000 would oftentimes bring a play where you could have a huge move up towards this level here. Now look at the move here. This is going from 1,000 down to 320. That's losing 2/3 of its value. That would often happen if we go to 1,000. Maybe people are starting to get more confident in the dollar. I don't know. We'll wait and see if, of course, this happens. Because what else might happen is your standard increase. A standard increase where we end up going up to this 130 level, come back, and then really just consolidate in an upward trend, keeping the trend higher, but not exploding the trend. That's one possibility for something that might happen. A third possibility is that the bears are right. Yeah, this is where the bears state silvers. We're topping. It's a bubble, or it looks like it might be a bubble, because the trend would still not be bearish yet, even though we're at 989. Because if you look at this high, this low, I mean, it's really got to break below here. Still, it's not looking good. But then maybe again it's another buying opportunity. Maybe they'll magically appear more silver on this planet. Or maybe the inflation rate is not real. Maybe they tell us money's not fiat and then everything we've been thinking about or learning is all a conspiracy. And there's just something stating that it's not good to have gold and silver. It's good to have dollars, and the chart might look something like this. That's another possibility. This would be a major breakdown, to say the least. A major breakdown. Maybe it's because we accidentally found 7 trillion ounces of silver in the Sahara or something. I don't know, but some sort of news story. Aliens give us a massive amount of silver. I don't know what can make sense for this, but it's another possibility for what may happen. Because you see, breaking the support level, boom, it's down to the races. Now, I guess we got this level of support back here. Back in the days where silver really never changed too much, had an explosionary peak and then didn't do much again. And well, since then, it's been volatile ever since. So that's why I think the trend has a good chance over the next few years, 3-4 years, to be volatile, to say the least. And have yourself a good weekend. Bye-bye.